Hey guys, and welcome to another GameXplain discussion. I'm your host, Andre Seegers, and this time we're joined by Derek Binder to discuss the latest trio of new Smash Bros characters being Robin, Lucina, and Captain Falcon. So let's get started. Alright Derek, so Sakurai I think totally caught us by surprise today, with not one, not two, but three new characters, all of which we didn't predict or didn't think would happen today. So this is kind of awesome, actually, kind of unexpected. I mentioned in our prediction discussion, I wanted to be surprised, and Sakurai pulled it off. So, what's your raw take on all this?
This is awesome. I mean, I was with you. I was like, we kind of was like, yeah, we all know Shulk is coming because of that reach. We thought it was a foregone conclusion. So we were like, it's cool that we're getting a new character and we want to see how he plays, but we weren't really like going to be shocked by anything that we were going to see. And that's not the case at all. I mean, Sakurai came out like with a
swinging,
swinging basically, and just really blowing away all expectations with these three characters. And the thing is, these are three characters people have wanted a lot. I mean, I was one of the people who would have preferred Lucina over Chrom just because of having another female character. I thought Robin would be a great choice because he sort of breaks away from that Fire Emblem status quo of guy with a sword, and of course getting Captain Falcon back. Everybody's, saw it coming, but still great to see it confirmed.
Yeah, I mean, Captain Falcon, I had no question he was going to come back. Some people apparently did, but that was never a concern of mine. But it's just good to see him in action, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, Robin and Lucina are definitely unexpected. There's that doubles the usual Fire Emblem roster from 2 to 4. This is a lot of Fire Emblem characters. And it's awesome because, yeah, we've talked about both of them before. In our previous discussions, I believe you mentioned, I know you at least mentioned Robin, you probably mentioned Lucina as well. Mm-hmm. And yeah, for those exact reasons. I mean, Lucina is another strong female character, which is awesome. And then Robin is too, actually, because we get both male and female versions of him. And yeah, he plays very differently, having access to tomes, which allows him to cast different magic spells. So it looks like he'll have, and most of them, from what I remember from the trailer, do appear to be like basically projectiles. So it looks like he will be, he can be, kind of long-range focused, except for the fact that the tomes, he'll run out of them, apparently, based on the trailer. And at which point, he'll have to revert to using his sword. So he should be definitely a different kind of fighter, I think.
Yeah, I have to, of course, going to be doing analysis on this trailer pretty much as soon as this discussion's over. So I haven't taken a very close look at all this.
Right.
But from what I can tell, if I had to guess, if just a guesstimation right now of what I've been seeing is maybe he cycles through all of his tomes. Mm-hmm. Like he uses all the electric ones and then he goes into the next one. It's sort of like a variation of maybe like the Pikmin, where he just cycles through like different ones and he can sort of determine that. And the only other guesstimate guess I have is that maybe like with each attack it becomes a little bit more powerful, and then once you use the ultimate one it switches off to the next. Now the other thing that throws a wrench into this whole thing trying to determine how Robin fights is customizable moves. What if each of these tomes is a different customizable move instead?
Right.
So it's going to be tricky to do this analysis and really get accurate, but I am very excited for him as a character just because he is different. He's sort of a mid-range fighter where he has, I wouldn't say he has incredible reach, definitely not powerful at those reaches, but if you get within his territory, he seems like he'll be able to do some real damage to you.
And then we have Lucina, who appears to be, actually, comparatively a much quicker character than Robin does, which I think is kind of interesting. But you probably know better than I do. Did we see anything like super noteworthy from her? Like, does she play particularly uniquely that you noticed, or?
Not that I could see. I mean, I did notice that one of her combos had like a lot of lower attacks, but that might have been part of like a similar attack to Morit's dancing sword attack or something. I forget if that's the actual name or not. But the forward B.
Right.
But it's hard to tell just off these little clips that we've seen so far. But it does look like she plays very similarly to Marth, which has sparked a debate of whether she's just a skin for him.
Right. And it's something you noticed that was interesting on the website was on the front page. They have pictures of all the Smash Brothers characters, and all the newcomers have like a newcomer banner on them. And you noticed she didn't, right?
Yeah, it just had update next to hers, and it didn't have the long bar indicating a newcomer like Robin got, like Pac-Man got, and all the other newcomers. However, what you noticed is that once you clicked on Lucina's picture, it does have the newcomer icon in the top right. So what I think what we might be looking at with Lucina, because as you said, we didn't see anything unique from her as far as a moveset, she might be a clone of Marth. Which would be our first real clone.
Well, what I meant was particularly unique. I mean, she seems to be a sword character. I didn't look at her moveset closely enough to say if it matches up with another character. It could. I guess that's what we'll explore more in the analysis, I'm sure. But yeah, I mean that's certainly possible at this point. But keep in mind, we haven't analyzed this yet, so if we say anything wrong, just chill out. I really did not expect 2 more Fire Emblem characters. I could have seen one more, being Chrom. And actually, it seems like he isn't a character in this game, playable character at all, even though he was featured somewhat prominently in the trailer. Instead, it seems like, as you know, he's part of Robin's final smash, right?
Yes, it looks like, if you look at the bit where Chrom shows up, it looks like it's a reference to the team attacks that happened in Fire Emblem Awakening, where the characters teamed up and attacked a single character, like they take turns, just a lot more flashy. And it basically has Chrom slashing at the opponents in the middle while Robin fires lightning spells into the fray, and it looks really awesome. And it's kind of cool to get Chrom in there, but God, I love Sakurai and how he just trolled everyone with how he treated Chrom during the trailer.
Oh yeah, I mean this has been a masterful trolling by Sakurai, and we did kind of hint that could happen in our last discussion. We said before Sakurai is unpredictable, and that seems to be ever more the case. He almost has like the observer effect, right? Where if you try to observe what he's doing, it changes the outcome. So no matter what, you can't predict what he's going to do. So what do you think though about not having Chrom apparently as a playable character? Because to me, I mean, I'm not a huge Fire Emblem guy. I did play Awakening, but that's it. So I'm kind of like a little bit of a comparatively layman to Fire Emblem. But of all the characters I thought he was for sure the most likely to appear, especially because of course the Gematsu leak.
Yeah, I think everybody was sort of convinced of that because it made the most sense. It's what had been happening up until that point, and that's why a lot of people thought he'd be replacing Ike, just because he seemed to have. You could just easily take Chrom and put him into Ike's moveset and not have to worry about it. And the fact that they didn't do that just really played with expectations, and I appreciate it for it. And let's just put this out there right now. I think the Gematsu leak is completely blown out of the water at this point. At least moving forward. Up until this point, it was highly accurate, but moving forward, we have no idea what's coming.
Yeah, I mean, that is kind of true. The thing is, it's possible he just missed more characters, like Rosalina, for instance. So there's a precedent for missing characters, but the fact that he said Chrom would be a playable character, and so as far as we can tell, he's not. That does seem to basically shoot a hole in that entire thing. The only way you could potentially work around that is if maybe Chrom is just a character in the game, which he is. In the final smash, you see him there. Maybe you could continue working with it based on that. Maybe he was mistaken. Who knows what he saw if it were real. But at this point, yeah, it seems it's hard to take it as gospel now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because at the last discussion we had trying to predict this, I said, well, I think I'd reached the point where I kind of believe it. And now, of course, now that I started believing it, nope, we're going to take that away and not believable. But here's the crazy thing about the Gematsu leak. The character that Sakurai disproved is the one that seemed the most likely. Because Shulk and the chorus boys or choir boys seemed less likely than Chrom, but the Gematsu leak said so you never knew. Now, it really puts into question whether or not Shulk and the choir boys will make it in.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing's kind of crazy because it was retweeted by a writer for Monolith Soft. So it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't rule out the possibility they could still be characters, and the fact that they are if they both turn out to be characters, I would say the Gematsu leak still was on the money, unless he was super lucky. And I would attribute the Chrom mistake as more of just mistaking, what that character actually was. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, at this point, this whole thing is like totally up in the air. this throws a wrench into the whole thing. And I am curious to see, what's going to come next. Because I do think the Choir Boys would be an awesome character. So I really am hoping that part is still true, whether or not the Gematsu leak has any merit to it.
Yeah. All I can say is that a big part of me is like, I'm glad it got a whole shot in it. That means this field is wide open again. We have no idea what's coming now.
Yeah.
We cannot predict it at all, which makes this a whole lot more fun. And that's why I think what I appreciated most about this reveal. There's this overriding sense of fun and excitement and surprise. Sakurai being playful with what's going on is like, nope, Chrom's not playable, but hey, he is in the game and all the good stuff. And then, of course, having Captain Falcon show up and looking kind of evil in his reveal.
Yeah, he is. And actually, let's talk Falcon real quick. I mean, I guess there wasn't a ton to say, because as far as we can tell, before the analysis, he functions just as he did before, which is awesome. That's fine. The only thing I really want is for them to rebuff the Falcon Punch. And unfortunately, based on the trailer, he doesn't even get the Falcon Punch off. They cut him off before the Falcon Punch. You don't do that. You don't cut off the Falcon Punch. So that's my only hope for him, is that they rebuff the Falcon Punch, and of course, as long as they retain his speediness, I'll be happy with this guy. So
yeah, it's from what we can see, it looks like Captain Falcon plays very similarly to how he played in the previous games, but of course, he could play completely differently. We've seen that with a lot of, like, Fox looked like he played a lot like the same, but they rebuffed and changed up how his moves, how effective each of his moves are. So they could definitely do the same here with Captain Falcon. I will say that is the most gorgeous Falcon punch we've ever seen.
Yeah, you see like the talons of the bird and everything. It's like super detailed.
Yeah, I love it. And I love two of his costumes as like a silver falcon and a gold falcon. It's just like it's just kind of perfect. Like it really feels like they're really playing with Captain Falcon and really understanding what he's all about, and I love it.
Yep, I'm with you. It looks great. Like, I mean, it's so weird that we got 3 characters, 2 of which are new, none of which we or pretty much anyone really expected. I mean, based on the knowledge base we could go off of. So yeah, it totally surprised us, and yeah, I am excited to see what more could come. Although, again, Sakurai did recently say that they are running out of newcomer videos. But as some people did point out, that could just mean that there are going to be more newcomers just without videos. So, maybe they'll be announced, maybe they won't be announced until the game actually comes out, and you unlock them during the course of the games. I believe Brawl had maybe 4 newcomers that you unlocked, that weren't announced beforehand. The only thing with them is, as I recall, I believe they were all clone or clone-ish, just so people don't get super uppity about that. But I know Wolf was in there, I believe, and a lot of people would argue he's not a clone. But yeah, so I don't know. So it could be possible to do something along those lines, where there will be more newcomers. But I do think, I feel like if they have any major newcomers like that play uniquely and are super big, they're going to blow them out before the game comes out, because that's more marketing. And we've seen Nintendo do this a lot more recently, like such as with Mario Kart, for instance, where they blew that game just completely open before release.
Yeah, this is the big game of the fall for them, for both 3DS and Wii U. They got to do major marketing to have the most characters in there to get people excited. That's what they got to do, and that's what they're doing right now. I think this might be the most excited I've been for Smash. At this point,
since
because yeah, no, it's just, I don't know. There's some, like, I love that the surprises are back, because we saw the other characters coming to a point because of the Palutena leak, because of the Gematsu leak in some form. We saw characters like the Pac-Man and Palutena coming. So the fact that we had no idea that these guys were coming just makes the game that much more exciting to me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I guess final question is, what do you think could be left for this roster? Because I believe you counted, and we're up to, 39 characters now?
38.
So we're just, I believe, one behind Brawl. And if you count, and I'm confident I believe there are only 2 characters left from the original Smash Bros game that haven't come back yet, being Ness and Jigglypuff. I'm confident they'll be back. So that brings us up to 40, and so we're now beyond Brawl. So that is already the biggest roster of any Smash Bros. Game. And of course, I know we know that he's still not done. At least if we go off of, again, his update, it sounded like there's still at least a few more coming after this.
I just like what we have so far, and at this rate, I think we might get close to 50 characters. It really feels like it.
I agree. I mean, at the least we'll end up mid-40s, maybe 45. I'm hoping we're 50. I do think that seems likely because there are a ton of Brawl characters left that still could come back, and most of them, I would wager most of them will. So I feel like we will get right around 50. So I'm with you. Alright, I think that wraps up for our Smash Brothers discussion, so thanks guys for watching. Of course, stay tuned for our upcoming analysis on all 3 of these characters coming up very soon. And stay tuned to GameXplain.com and our Facebook and Twitter pages at GameXplain to find out more about everything. Everything Nintendo. And maybe a few other things too. Alright, thanks for watching guys. Bye.